Captain Han Minho stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching the stars through the main viewing screen. His ship moved slowly through empty space, heading toward the largest fleet the galaxy had ever seen. 847 alien warships waited for him. Behind them, their massive command station Nexus Prime blocked out the stars with its huge metal bulk. Minho was not afraid. He had trained for this moment his entire life. Every human in the Sol system had been preparing for 50 years, ever since first contact with the Galactic Coalition. The aliens had seemed friendly at first. They offered trade, knowledge, and a place among the stars. But then they saw Earth's military history. They saw the wars, the weapons, the endless fighting that had shaped humanity for thousands of years. The aliens decided humans were too dangerous to live free. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the Coalition fleet," said Lieutenant Hong Nara from her communication station. Her voice was calm and steady. "Put it through," Minho replied. The main screen changed from stars to the face of Council Prime Rakthul. The alien looked like a giant insect with 4 arms and compound eyes that glowed with inner light. Behind him, Minho could see other alien leaders. There was Commander Vexistar of the energy-based Luminos, whose body was made of living light. General Morok of the militaristic Drakmori stood nearby, his red skin covered in ritual scars. "Human vessel." Rakthul's voice came through the speakers with electronic translation. "You have 1 ship. We have nearly 900. Your planet has refused our generous offer to surrender peacefully. We do not understand why you sent only 1 ship to face our might." Minho smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Council Prime, this is Captain Han Minho of the Terran vessel Indomitable. I carry a message from Admiral Kojisu and the people of Earth. Speak your message, human. Make it quick." "Our patience grows thin." Minho straightened his shoulders. Behind him, his crew worked at their stations. Commander Lee Dongyun checked his weapon systems. Dr. Park Yunji monitored the ship's power levels. Everyone was ready. "The message is simple," Minho said. "Earth does not kneel. We will not surrender our freedom. We will not become your slaves or your subjects. If you want our world, you will have to take it." The aliens on the screen looked at each other. Some made sounds that might have been laughter. General Morok stepped forward, his warrior's pride clearly insulted. "1 ship against our armada. Human. You are either very brave or very stupid. Perhaps both. Do you think your single vessel can defeat our entire fleet?" "I think you misunderstand something," Minho replied. "You see 1 ship. But we are not just 1 ship. We are humanity. We are every human who ever lived, fought, and died for freedom. We carry their spirit, their knowledge, and their refusal to bow down to anyone." Commander Vextar's light form flickered, with what looked like confusion. "Your ship readings are unusual. Our sensors detect energy patterns we do not recognize. What weapons do you carry?" Minho's smile grew wider. "You will find out soon enough. But first, let me ask you something. How many wars has your species fought? How many battles have you won through cleverness instead of numbers? How many times have you had to fight for your very survival against impossible odds?" The aliens were quiet. Minho knew the answer already. Most species in the galaxy had achieved peace long ago. They fought with honor, with rules, with fairness. They believed in overwhelming force and clean victories. Humans were different. "You offer us 2 choices," Minho continued. "Surrender or die. But humans always find a third option. We call it victory." Rakthul's insect face showed irritation. "Enough talk. You have 1 hour to surrender your vessel and submit to Coalition authority. After that, we will destroy your ship and proceed to your planet. Your defiance ends here." "No," Minho said simply. "It begins here." The transmission ended. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of machinery. Lieutenant Hong Nara looked up from her station. "Captain, long-range sensors are detecting movement throughout the Coalition fleet. They are preparing to attack." "Good," Minho said. He pressed a button on his command chair. "All stations, this is the captain. Condition red, all hands to battle stations. Dr. Park, how are our power levels?" Dr. Park Yunji's voice came through the intercom from engineering. "All reactors operating at full capacity, Captain. Exotic matter containment is stable. All weapon systems are ready." Commander Lee Donghyun turned from his tactical station. "Sir, should I charge the main guns?" "Not yet," Minho said. "Let them come closer. Let them think they know what they are facing." On the viewing screen, the Coalition fleet began to move. Hundreds of alien warships advanced in perfect formation. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. Their shields shimmered like soap bubbles around each hull. Minho watched them come and thought about Earth. He thought about the billions of humans living their lives, trusting him and his crew to protect them. He thought about the secret shipyards on the dark side of the moon. He thought about the hidden weapons platforms scattered throughout the asteroid belt. He thought about the other human ships waiting in the shadows of gas giant moons. Most of all, he thought about what his grandfather had told him as a boy. Son, when someone bigger than you wants to fight, you don't try to be bigger. You try to be smarter. The aliens thought they were facing one ship. They were wrong. They were facing 5,000 years of human warfare, compressed into the deadliest vessel ever built. They were facing a species that had turned killing into an art form and war into science. The Indomitable waited, engines humming softly. Inside its hull, weapons that violated known physics prepared to fire. In hidden compartments, thousands of fighter craft checked their systems. Deep in the ship's core, artificial intelligence named Aegis calculated the best way to destroy an entire fleet. The galaxy wondered why humanity sent one ship. Soon they would understand. One ship was all humanity needed to prove a point that had been true since the first human picked up a rock to defend himself. Never threaten Earth unless you are prepared for the consequences. The Coalition's mighty armada was now scattered wreckage floating in the cold void of space. What remained of their fleet huddled together like frightened animals, their weapons powered down, their shields failing, their crews praying to whatever gods their species believed in. Admiral Zekton's flagship limped through the debris field that had once been the pride of galactic military might. Half his bridge crew was dead. His ship's hull was cracked in 17 places. Emergency life support systems struggled to keep the remaining crew alive. "Sir?" croaked his communications officer, one arm hanging useless at his side. "The humans are hailing us." "Put it through," Zekton replied, his voice hollow with defeat. The face of Captain Han Minho appeared on the damaged screen. Behind him, the bridge of the Indomitable looked pristine and undamaged. The human captain's expression was calm, almost gentle. "Admiral Zekton," Minho said, "I believe we need to discuss terms." "Terms?" Zekton's mandibles clicked with bitter laughter. "You have destroyed my fleet. What terms are there to discuss except our surrender?" "You misunderstand," Minho replied. "I am not here to accept your surrender. I am here to explain why you will never threaten Earth again." Around the solar system, human forces consolidated their victory. Admiral John Minzok emerged from Saturn's rings with a fleet that had been hiding in the gas giant's atmosphere for decades. His ships were smaller than the Indomitable, but they moved like living things, their hulls flowing and changing shape as they adapted to combat conditions. "Control, this is Hidden Fleet Alpha," he broadcast. "We have secured the outer system. No enemy vessels have escaped. Prisoners are being processed according to the Geneva Conventions." Commander An Soo-young coordinated the Jupiter station batteries, massive weapons platforms that had been disguised as research facilities orbiting the gas giant. Her crews worked with practiced efficiency, cataloging captured alien technology and preparing it for reverse engineering. "Amazing," she told her technical staff. "Their energy weapons are actually quite elegant, but they are designed with so many safety features that they can barely function. Remove the limiters, and their firepower increases by 300%. This was the pattern throughout human space. Every captured Coalition ship revealed new weaknesses in alien military thinking. They built weapons that could not hurt friendly forces. They used tactics that prioritized minimizing casualties over achieving victory. They fought wars the way humans played games with rules and referees. Humans fought wars to win. Dr. Lee Chae-young had established field laboratories on 17 captured alien vessels. Her teams worked around the clock, dissecting Coalition technology and finding ways to improve it. The aliens had superior energy sources and more advanced materials, but they had never learned to use them effectively. "Captain Minho," she reported, "we have identified critical flaws in their shield technology. They have focused on stopping energy weapons but ignored kinetic impacts. Their armor is designed to distribute damage evenly, instead of channeling it away from vital systems. It is as if they have never fought a real war." That was exactly the problem. Most galactic species had achieved peace centuries ago. They maintained military forces for show, for exploration, for police actions against primitive worlds. They had forgotten what war actually meant. Humans had never forgotten. Colonel Park Jung-won led boarding parties through the captured ships, securing prisoners and gathering intelligence. What he found disturbed him more than any battle could. The coalition forces had expected a quick, clean victory, followed by negotiated surrender. They had brought occupation forces, not conquest armies. "Sir," he reported to Admiral Kojisu back on Earth, "these aliens do not understand what they started. They thought they were conducting a police action against a rebellious colony world. They have no concept of total war." Admiral Kojisu sat in her command center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, surrounded by displays showing the complete picture of human military might. The public had never seen these facilities. They had never known that every major city on Earth was connected by tunnels filled with weapons. They had never suspected that their peaceful planet was actually a fortress world. "Colonel, how many prisoners do we have?" "Approximately 12,000, ma'am. All cooperative. They seem genuinely shocked that we are treating them well instead of executing them." Kojisu nodded. "Continue the humane treatment. We want the galaxy to understand that humans can show mercy when it is deserved. But make sure they also understand the price of threatening Earth." Back on the Indomitable, Captain Minho continued his conversation with Admiral Zekton. The alien looked confused and defeated, unable to comprehend what had happened to his fleet. "How?" Zekton asked. "How did you build such weapons?" "Our intelligence said your species was young, primitive, barely capable of interstellar travel." "Your intelligence was correct," Minho replied. "We are young. We are primitive. We have only just learned to travel between stars. But we have been learning to kill each other for 50,000 years. That gives us certain advantages." The truth was simpler than the aliens could understand. Humans were not naturally peaceful. They were naturally violent, naturally competitive, naturally suspicious of strangers. First contact with the galaxy had not changed human nature. It had simply given humans new enemies to worry about. "While your diplomats spoke of friendship," Minho continued, "our military leaders planned for war. While you offered us trade agreements, we studied your weaknesses. While you believed in peaceful coexistence, we prepared for the day you would show your true nature." Admiral John Minsock's ships had begun the grim task of cataloging coalition losses. The numbers were staggering. Over 600 ships destroyed, nearly 200 captured, dozens more crippled and drifting. The largest military fleet in galactic history had been crushed by forces they never saw coming. But the real shock was still to come. As human search and rescue teams combed through the wreckage, they found something that changed everything. The coalition ships had not been carrying just military personnel. They had been carrying civilian administrators, scientists, cultural experts, even teachers and entertainers, Captain, Lieutenant Hong Nara reported with obvious distress. "We have recovered data cores from the enemy command ship. Sir, they were not planning to destroy Earth. They were planning to occupy it. These were not invasion forces. They were colonial administration teams." Minho felt a chill run down his spine. The coalition had not seen Earth as a threat to be eliminated. They had seen it as a resource to be managed, a primitive world that needed guidance from more advanced species. They had come to save humanity from itself, and humanity had responded by demonstrating the most sophisticated military technology in the galaxy. "Sir," Commander Lee Dong-hyun said quietly, "what do we do with this information?" Minho stared at the tactical display, showing the complete destruction of forces that had come to help rather than harm. For a moment, he felt the weight of 50,000 years of human warfare pressing down on him. Then he remembered why they had built the Indomitable in the first place, not to fight invaders but to prevent invasion entirely, to make the galaxy understand that Earth would never be conquered, never be controlled, never be civilized by alien standards. "We finish what we started," he said. "The galaxy needs to understand that good intentions do not matter when they threaten human freedom. Send a message to all coalition worlds. Tell them what happened here. Tell them why it happened, and tell them what will happen if anyone tries this again." The cannons had roared, and the galaxy would remember the sound forever. But the message they carried was not just about human weapons or human tactics. It was about human nature, and why the galaxy should be very careful about trying to change it. The coalition fleet was dying. What had started as a simple execution of a defiant world had become a nightmare of impossible weapons and inhuman tactics. Admiral Zekton watched his formation crumble as human forces attacked from every direction at once. "Status report," he demanded, though he already knew the answer would be bad. "We have lost 230 ships, sir. Enemy forces have us completely surrounded. The human fighters they are learning from our defensive patterns and adapting in real time. Zekton's forearms worked frantically at his control stations. 50 years of coalition military doctrine had not prepared him for this. The humans fought without honor, without rules, without any regard for the civilized conduct of war, and they were winning. On the Indomitable, Gunnery Chief Ryu Wujin prepared to unveil humanity's greatest achievement in the art of killing. The ship's main guns were not just weapons. They were monuments to human engineering, physics-defying cannons that could crack planets in half. "Captain," he reported to Minho, "main battery is charged and ready. Targets are locked. Shall I demonstrate why humans call these god killers?" Minho studied the tactical display. The coalition fleet was trapped but still dangerous. Their remaining ships were forming defensive clusters trying to protect their command vessels. It was exactly what he had hoped they would do. "Fire," he said simply. The Indomitable shuddered as its main guns spoke. These were not the simple kinetic weapons that had been tearing through enemy ships. These were cannons that fired compressed matter. Bullets made from the hearts of dead stars, accelerated through dimensional gates that bypassed normal space entirely. The first shell materialized inside a coalition battleship without passing through the space between. The enemy vessel simply ceased to exist, its atoms scattered across several light-years of space. The second shell took out 3 ships at once, its exotic matter warhead creating a brief black hole that swallowed everything nearby. "Impossible readings," whispered the coalition science officer aboard Zekton's flagship. "Those projectiles did not travel through normal space. They appeared directly at their targets. How can they fire through dimensions?" Dr. Song Yaram monitored the Indomitable's exotic matter reactors from her station in the ship's core. The energy requirements for the main guns were enormous, requiring her to tap into parallel universes for additional power. Warning lights flashed across her displays as the ship drew energy from sources that technically did not exist. "Captain," she reported through the intercom, "dimensional tap is holding steady, but we are drawing attention from some very unfriendly neighbors in adjacent realities. Recommend we limit main gun usage to prevent unwanted visitors." "Understood, Doctor. Chief Ryu saved the big guns for their command ships only." The battle had become a demonstration of human military thinking. While the coalition used overwhelming force and direct confrontation, humans used misdirection, superior technology, and pure vicious creativity. Captain Shin Dae-hyun commanded the orbital defense grid that surrounded the inner planets. His weapons platforms had been disguised as communication satellites and scientific stations for decades. Now they revealed their true purpose, creating a wall of fire that no enemy ship could penetrate. "Grid control to all stations," he broadcast. "Begin Hellfire Protocol. Show these aliens what happens when you threaten Earth." The defense grid unleashed weapons that turned space itself into a killing field. Gravity mines that created impossible tidal forces tearing enemy ships apart. Energy webs that trapped vessels in fields of pure force. Quantum disruptors that made enemy weapons forget how to function. Lieutenant Hong Nara worked frantically at her communications station, translating the flood of surrender requests coming from coalition ships. The alien languages all carried the same message: confusion, terror, and the desperate desire to survive. "Captain," she reported, "we are receiving surrender signals from 47 enemy vessels. They are requesting terms and asking about prisoner treatment protocols." Minho considered this. "Tell them to power down all weapons and engines, then wait for boarding parties. Any ship that tries to run will be destroyed without warning." The boarding parties were led by Colonel Park Jung-hwan, a Marine who had studied alien psychology for decades. His teams wore armor that adapted to any environment, carried weapons that could defeat any defense, and followed tactics that alien minds simply could not predict. "Remember," he told his troops as they prepared to board captured coalition vessels, "these aliens think they understand war because they have rules and honor. Show them what humans learned fighting each other for 5,000 years. Be polite, be professional, but be absolutely ready to kill everyone you meet." Dr. Lee Chae-young accompanied the boarding teams as a xenobiologist. Her job was to analyze alien technology in real time, figuring out how their systems worked and how humans could use them better. She had portable laboratories that could reverse engineer alien devices within minutes. "Fascinating," she said as her team examined a captured Velkari cruiser. "Their weapons are extremely sophisticated, but they are designed with built-in limitations. Safety features that prevent friendly fire, power regulators that stop overheating. They engineer weakness into their own systems. The information flowed back to the Indomitable, where human engineers immediately began adapting alien technology for their own use. Within hours, human fighters were upgrading their weapons with coalition energy systems, while human ships began using alien shield generators to improve their defenses. But the most terrifying moment for the coalition came when they realized the Indomitable was growing. The ship was using captured alien vessels as raw materials, breaking them down and incorporating their technology into its own hull. Like a mechanical virus, it consumed enemy ships and became stronger. Admiral Zekton watched in horror as human engineering drones swarmed over his captured vessels, taking them apart piece by piece. "They are not just defeating us," he said to his remaining officers. "They are learning from us. Every ship they capture makes them more dangerous." His tactical officer pointed at the display showing human forces throughout the solar system. "Sir, we are detecting massive industrial activity on all human worlds. They are building new ships during the battle. Their entire civilization has converted to military production." This was the truth the coalition had never understood. Humans did not just fight wars. They lived war. Every human factory could build weapons. Every human engineer understood military applications. Every human citizen was a potential soldier. The asteroid belt had been quietly converted into the largest weapons factory in the galaxy. Mining ships that looked peaceful were actually mobile shipyards. Research stations were weapons laboratories. Even civilian transport vessels carried hidden armaments. "How long have they been preparing for this?" Zekton asked, though he already knew the answer. "Our intelligence suggests they began military preparations the day after first contact 50 years ago. While we were negotiating trade agreements, they were planning for war." The remaining coalition ships found themselves facing an enemy that had turned an entire solar system into a fortress. Every asteroid was a potential missile, every moon was a weapons platform, every planet was a factory producing new horrors. But the worst realization was yet to come. As the Indomitable finished consuming its latest batch of captured ships, it began to replicate itself. The hull split and reformed, creating two identical vessels where there had been one. "They are not just one ship," whispered the coalition science officer. "They are a self-replicating weapon system. Every victory makes them stronger. Every captured vessel gives them more resources. If we do not stop them here, they will spread across the galaxy like a plague." Admiral Zekton looked at his tactical display and saw the end of coalition dominance. The humans had not just defeated his fleet. They had shown the galaxy that there were no rules in war, no limits to violence, no mercy for those who threatened Earth. The cannons roared, and the galaxy learned to fear the sound. The first salvo from the coalition fleet struck the Indomitable with enough force to destroy a small moon. Energy beams that could cut through any known metal hit the human ship's hull and simply vanished. The aliens stared in shock as their most powerful weapons had no effect at all. "Impossible," whispered Admiral Zekton. "Our weapons should have destroyed that vessel completely. What kind of armor are they using?" His science officer's voice shook with confusion. "Sir, our sensors show that the energy did not bounce off or get absorbed. It just stopped existing. The human ship's hull seems to exist in multiple dimensions at once." Zekton felt a chill run through his insect body. "Continue the attack. Use everything we have." The coalition fleet unleashed hell. 800 ships fired together, creating a light show that could be seen from several star systems away. Plasma cannons, particle beams, quantum torpedoes, and gravity bombs all struck the human vessel. The space around the Indomitable glowed white-hot with destructive energy. When the light faded, the human ship was still there, completely undamaged. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Minho watched the enemy attacks with calm interest. "Impressive light show," he commented. "Commander Lee, I think it is time we replied." Commander Lee Donghyun's fingers danced across his control panel. "Yes, sir. What would you like me to start with?" "Something traditional. Let us show them how humans have been killing each other for 5,000 years." The Indomitable's hull opened in dozens of places. What emerged looked simple compared to the aliens' energy weapons. They were just metal rods, each one about the size of a telephone pole. But these rods had been accelerated by magnetic fields to 15% of the speed of light. The first rod struck a coalition cruiser in the center of their formation. The impact released the energy of a nuclear bomb. The alien ship simply disappeared, turned into expanding plasma and debris. The rod continued through the formation, striking 2 more ships before its energy was spent. "Kinetic weapons," reported the Coalition's tactical officer, his voice filled with disbelief. "The humans are using kinetic weapons. How primitive." But Admiral Zekton was studying the destruction. 3 of his best ships had been destroyed by a single piece of metal.
"How fast was that projectile moving?"
he demanded. 15% light speed, sir. That should not be possible with magnetic acceleration." More metal rods fired from the Indomitable. Each one found its target with perfect accuracy. Coalition ships began to disappear one by one, their shields and armor useless against weapons that hit with the force of asteroids. "Evasive maneuvers," Zekton ordered. "All ships break formation." But the human ship had more surprises. From hidden bays along its hull, thousands of small craft emerged. They looked like metallic insects, each one no bigger than a fighter aircraft. The Coalition sensors counted them as they deployed. "Sir, the human ship is launching fighters. Count as 1,000. 3,000. 7,000. The count keeps rising. How many fighters can one ship carry? The answer was simple, all of them. The Indomitable was not just carrying pre-built fighters. It was manufacturing them in real time, using raw materials and automated systems that worked faster than any alien technology. Lieutenant Kang Hyunwoo piloted the first fighter to engage the enemy. His craft was small and fast, powered by the same exotic technology as the mothership, but what made it deadly was its weapon system. Each fighter carried missiles that could think for themselves, choosing targets and attack patterns based on real-time analysis of the battle. "Phoenix Squadron, this is Phoenix Leader," he broadcast to his fellow pilots. "Remember your training. These aliens fight with honor and rules. We fight to win. No mercy, no hesitation, no survivors unless they surrender." The human fighters swarmed through the Coalition formation like angry bees. Their missiles sought out enemy weapon systems, engines, and command centers. Alien ships that had never faced such chaotic, unpredictable attacks found themselves helpless. But the real shock came when the Coalition tried to return fire. Their weapons, designed for ship-to-ship combat, could not track targets that moved like the human fighters. The small craft seemed to phase in and out of normal space, appearing just long enough to fire before vanishing again. Commander Bae Miran, head of electronic warfare aboard the Indomitable, watched her displays with satisfaction. "Captain, enemy communications are in complete chaos. Their command structure is breaking down. They have never faced distributed swarm tactics before." Minho nodded. "Excellent. Tactical Officer Nam, begin Phase 2. Tactical Officer Nam Ji-hoon had studied every battle in human history. He understood something that the aliens did not. War was not about having better weapons or more ships. It was about making your enemy fight your kind of battle instead of theirs. "All fighter squadrons execute Leonidas Protocol," he ordered. The human fighters suddenly changed their behavior. Instead of attacking randomly, they began to herd the Coalition ships into tighter groups. Like wolves driving sheep, they used fear and confusion to make the enemy do exactly what the humans wanted. Admiral Zekton realized what was happening, but too late. "They are forcing us into a kill zone. All ships, spread formation, maximum distance between vessels." But the Coalition fleet was too big and too slow to change formation quickly. As they tried to spread out, the human fighters attacked their engines, crippling ships and leaving them drifting in space. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, "we have lost 60 ships in the last 10 minutes. The human fighters are targeting our propulsion systems. They are not trying to destroy us quickly. They are trying to trap us." Zekton's compound eyes focused on the Indomitable. The human ship had not moved from its original position. It sat in space like a patient predator, occasionally firing its terrible kinetic weapons to destroy ships that tried to escape the battle zone. "What are they waiting for?" he wondered aloud. His answer came from deep space. Coalition sensors detected new contacts approaching from the outer system. One contact became 10, then 50, then hundreds. Ships emerged from the shadows of asteroids, from behind moons, from the gas giant atmospheres where they had been hiding. "Sir, we are detecting multiple fleets approaching from all directions. Ship count is over 300 human vessels." "How is this possible?" "Intelligence said Earth had no significant military forces." Zekton felt defeat settling over him like a cold blanket. The humans had not sent one ship to face his fleet. They had sent one ship to hold his fleet in place while their real forces surrounded them. Captain Lim Sora commanded the hidden defense platforms scattered throughout the asteroid belt. For 50 years, these weapons had disguised themselves as mining stations and research facilities. Now they revealed their true nature, unfolding like mechanical flowers to show massive gun barrels that could fire across solar system distances. All platforms. This is Control, she broadcast. Target the enemy command vessels. Fire when ready. The space around the Coalition fleet lit up with energy beams fired from dozens of hidden positions. These were not the simple kinetic weapons of the Indomitable. These were pure energy weapons that used the power output of entire stars, focused through quantum lenses that turned light itself into a cutting tool. Coalition command ships, the largest and most heavily armored vessels in their fleet, began to die. Their shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, could not handle energy beams that existed in 11 dimensions simultaneously. The galaxy's greatest fleet found itself trapped in a web of human cunning, facing weapons that violated every rule of civilized warfare. And at the center of it all, one ship waited patiently for the enemy to understand that they had never been fighting fair opponents. They had been fighting humans. The Coalition fleet moved closer to the Indomitable, their formation perfect and proud. Admiral Zekton of the Velkari watched from his command ship, his forearms working different control panels at once. To him, the human vessel looked small and alone. It did not match any ship design in the Coalition database. Analysis complete, reported his science officer. The human ship is approximately 2 kilometers long. Hull composition unknown. Energy readings are strange. We detect multiple reactor signatures, but they do not match any known technology. Admiral Zekton clicked his mandibles in thought. Perhaps the humans have discovered new physics. No matter. Size and technology cannot defeat numbers. Signal the fleet to begin the attack run. What the aliens did not know was the true story of the Indomitable. 50 years ago, when humanity first met the galaxy, they had seemed like a young and peaceful species. The Coalition welcomed them with open arms. But some humans had read the galaxy's history carefully. They saw how other species had been absorbed, conquered, or simply eliminated when they became inconvenient. Engineer Choi Sun-woo had been one of those humans. While diplomats spoke of friendship and trade, he worked in secret facilities hidden in Earth's moon. His project was simple in concept but impossible in practice: build a ship that could defeat any fleet in the galaxy. The problem, he had explained to his team 20 years ago, is that we think like humans, but we need to fight like humans too. Every species in the galaxy fights fair. They use similar weapons, similar tactics, similar thinking. We need to be different. Dr. Yoon Haeun had joined the project as a young physicist. She brought ideas that made other scientists laugh. Weapons that used quantum tunneling to bypass shields. Engines that moved through folded space-time. Reactors that harvested energy from parallel dimensions. The aliens have rules, she said during one late-night meeting. They believe in honor and fair combat. We will show them that rules are just suggestions when your species' survival is at stake. The ship took 30 years to build. It was constructed in pieces, hidden in asteroid mining facilities throughout the solar system. Each component was built by different teams who never knew the full picture. Only a few dozen humans knew what they were really creating. Captain Kim Tae-hyung had been the first test pilot. He remembered the day the ship's main drive came online for the first time. Space itself had seemed to bend around the vessel. Stars had shifted in ways that hurt to look at. It works, he had reported to the secret council that oversaw the project. But I do not think we should ever use it unless we have no choice. This ship does not just break the laws of physics. It breaks them over its knee and laughs. Now, as the Coalition fleet approached, all of that hidden work was about to be revealed. In the Indomitable's engine room, Dr. Park Yoon-ji watched displays that would have driven alien scientists insane. The ship's power core was not just one reactor, but 7 different types of energy generation, all feeding into systems that should not have been possible. Exotic matter levels holding steady, she reported to the bridge. Quantum flux capacitors are charged and ready. Dimensional tap is drawing power normally. All impossible systems are functioning perfectly. On the bridge, Commander Lee Dong-yun studied his weapons display. Each icon represented technology that had never been seen in galactic warfare. Mass drivers that could accelerate projectiles to 15% of light speed. Energy beams that existed in 11 dimensions simultaneously. missiles that could phase in and out of normal space to bypass any defense. "Sir," he said to Captain Minho, "the aliens are almost in range of their weapons. Should I begin defensive procedures?" Minho shook his head. "Not yet. Let them fire first. Let them think they are winning." In the hidden depths of the ship, Sergeant O Jinwan prepared his Marines for what might come. But these were not ordinary Marines. They wore armor that incorporated alien technologies humanity had been quietly reverse engineering for decades. Their weapons could adapt to any enemy. Their suits could survive in any environment. "Listen up," he told his troops. "Today we show the galaxy why humans conquered every environment on Earth. We adapted. We overcame. We survived. And now we fight." The ship's artificial intelligence Aegis processed tactical data at speeds that made quantum computers look slow. It had studied every battle in human history, every tactic ever used, every victory ever won against impossible odds. It knew that the key to defeating a larger force was not to fight it directly, but to make it defeat itself. "Captain," Aegis spoke through the ship's communication system, "I have completed analysis of the enemy fleet. They are using standard coalition battle formations, predictable, efficient, and completely vulnerable to asymmetric warfare. Recommendations?" Minho asked. "Let them think they are facing a conventional opponent. Their formations are designed to overwhelm single targets through concentrated fire. They will cluster their ships for maximum effect. This will be their mistake." The coalition fleet had spread into attack formation, 800 ships arranged in perfect geometric patterns, each one knowing exactly where every other ship would be. It was beautiful, precise, and exactly what humans had hoped for. What the aliens could not see was the rest of the solar system. Hidden in the asteroid belt, weapon platforms powered up for the first time in 50 years. Near Jupiter, entire fleets of human ships broke away from the gas giants' moons where they had been hiding. Around Saturn, orbital defense stations that looked like research facilities revealed their true purpose. But the most important secret was the Indomitable itself. The ship was not just a warship. It was a factory, a shipyard, and a mobile base all in one. Its holds contained enough raw materials and manufacturing systems to build a fleet during a battle. Its hull could reconfigure itself for different mission requirements. Dr. Yoon Hyun watched from her station as the ship's exotic systems prepared for combat. "You know," she said to her assistant, "I almost feel sorry for them. They have no idea what they are about to face." The first alien weapons fired, bright beams of energy that could melt through any known armor. They struck the Indomitable directly. The aliens cheered, thinking they had won an easy victory. Then the energy beams simply disappeared, absorbed by hull plating that existed in several dimensions at once. Captain Minho smiled. "Now, Commander Lee, show them what humans call overwhelming force." The Indomitable came alive.